The 2025 Atlanta Falcons are about to drop a bombshell on the NFL. Forget the usual training camp cliches. Forget the endless preseason debates. This is different. This is the kind of revelation that turns a team from hopeful playoff contender into something far scarier. For months, the biggest question in Atlanta has been simple. Who's going to step up at wide receiver? With Darnell Mooney sidelined and depth looking thin, fans brace themselves for a season of uncertainty. But then, almost out of nowhere, one name rose from the shadows. Casey Washington, a sixth-round pick. A rookie in 2024 who barely saw the field, just one catch, 14 yards, and forgotten almost as quickly as he arrived. Most fans couldn't even pick him out of a lineup. But behind closed doors on the practice field, something extraordinary was happening. Raheem Morris and his staff didn't just notice, they acted. They didn't wait for the preseason games to play out. They didn't test him against second-string corners or make him fight for a roster spot. No, they made their decision early, and they made it loud. Washington has already been locked into the 53-man roster. No audition, no debate, no hesitation. And here's where it gets even crazier. When Morris was pressed on who would step into Mooney's role, he didn't dodge. He didn't say, "We'll see," or "It's a competition." His answer was sharp, direct, and stunning. Casey Washington, just like that. Over veterans with proven NFL experience. Over young players who'd been hyped as breakout candidates. In one swift move, Washington didn't just make the roster, he leapfrogged the depth chart. Do you realize what this means? The Falcons now hold a weapon that nobody in the league has tape on. Defenses don't know his speed. They don't know his routes. They don't know how he attacks the ball. And that's the scariest thing about all of this. Because hidden in plain sight, Atlanta just found a receiver who could change the entire shape of their offense, and no one outside of Flowery Branch saw it coming. By the time defenses figure out what Atlanta is cooking, it might already be too late. Imagine this. The Falcons are rolling 8-0, with the rest of the NFC South left in shock, trying to catch up. That's how dangerous this offense could be. And here's the wild part. Casey Washington isn't climbing this mountain alone. He entered the league in the same class as Michael Penix Jr., the new face of this franchise. They came in as rookies together. They learned the system side by side. They've been growing, pushing, grinding through the same playbook at the same time. What does that mean? Chemistry. Invisible, untouchable chemistry that defenses can't scout until it explodes in real games. It's like watching the beginning of a legendary duo, the Jordan and Pippen stage, before anyone knew what was coming. When a head coach like Raheem Morris stamps his approval on a second-year wideout before he even plays a snap in preseason, it sends a signal across the locker room. This isn't hope. This is certainty. The Falcons aren't waiting to be great. They know they're built for it. And just when you think that's the headline, the second piece of news drops like thunder. NFL.com released its predictions for first-time Pro Bowlers in 2025, and guess who's front and center? Drake London. This isn't hype. This isn't wishful thinking. This is math, production, and cold, hard evidence. Year 1, 866 yards. Year 2, 905. Solid but steady. Then came year 3. The breakout, 1,271 yards, 9 touchdowns, and moments that made defenders look helpless. But the real story wasn't the totals. The real story was the spark lit when Michael Penix Jr. stepped under center. Think back to those last 2 games of 2024. No training camp together. No off-season rhythm. Just raw talent linking up in real time. Against the Giants, London went off for 106 yards. Then came Washington. 187 yards. 17 catches. 2 touchdowns in 2 games. That wasn't an accident. That was the beginning of something special. Now imagine what happens after an entire offseason of timing, trust, and repetition. Imagine the bond they're building right now in practice, the kind of connection elite duos like Burrow and Chase, Jefferson and Cousins, Mahomes and Kels made their careers on. This isn't just growth. This is about to be a quantum leap. And with London drawing double teams, that's when the trap is set. Because waiting in the shadows is Casey Washington, no film, no scouting report, no plan to stop him. Defenses will tilt everything to contain London, Pitts, and Bijan Robinson. And Washington will be left alone, ready to burn whoever dares line up across from him. That's how an offense becomes unstoppable. Not because of one star, but because every option is a nightmare. Look around the NFC South, and you'll see a division at a crossroads. The Saints? They're clinging to the past, trying to squeeze one last season out of a roster that's running out of gas. The Panthers? Still rebuilding, still searching for answers, still praying their young quarterback develops fast enough to keep fans patient. And the Buccaneers? Their championship window has slammed shut, and they're staring down the hard truth of a reset. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, something completely different is happening. The Falcons aren't patching holes. They're not gambling on fading stars. They're not waiting for a miracle. They've got a second-year quarterback in Michael Penix Jr. who already looks like the face of a franchise. They've got a receiving core that isn't aging out. It's getting younger, faster, stronger. And they've got a head coach in Raheem Morris who isn't chasing quick fixes. He's building something that can last. Here's the wild part. The national media barely notices. They're too busy drowning in Cowboys drama, too focused on the Eagles' expectations, too locked in on San Francisco's championship chase. They're not watching what's brewing in Atlanta. They're not talking about Casey Washington, the forgotten sixth-rounder who's gone from anonymous to unavoidable. They're not talking about Drake London, who's about to bulldoze his way into the league's elite. But when they finally wake up, it'll be too late. By the time ESPN starts moving Atlanta into their precious top 10 power rankings, the Falcons could already be sitting atop the NFC South, already securing playoff seeding, already charging headfirst into a Super Bowl run. And this isn't just about 2025. This is about a window that could last the next decade. A dynasty being built brick by brick, player by player, moment by moment. Casey Washington didn't luck into a roster spot. He earned it with dominance in practice. Drake London isn't hoping for a Pro Bowl nod. He's about to crash into superstardom. And when you have a head coach so confident in his young talent that he doesn't even need to see them in preseason, that's not chance. That's certainty. This isn't a team improving. This is a team transforming. The secret is out. The weapons are loaded. And the rest of the NFL is about to find out just how dangerous the Falcons have become. The pieces are no longer scattered. They've fallen perfectly into place. While other teams cling to potential, Atlanta is preparing to deliver proof. While rivals talk about development, the Falcons are showing what dominance really looks like. Casey Washington didn't climb the depth chart step by step. He didn't need a long audition. He went from forgotten to undeniable in an instant, a wideout who skipped the preseason stage because the coaches already knew. That isn't development. That's destiny. Drake London isn't knocking on the door of NFL superstardom anymore. He's kicking it down. His rise isn't a matter of if. It's a matter of when. And 2025 is the year. This team, right now, with these players, isn't just playing another season. This feels like the spark of something far greater, the beginning of a legend. Think about it. Washington, the secret weapon no defensive coordinator has tape on. London, stepping into the rare air of Jefferson, Chase, and Lamb. Kyle Pitts, healthy again and ready to remind the world why he was drafted so high. Bijan Robinson, a weapon from anywhere on the field. And Michael Penix Jr., already looking like the steady hand who can tie it all together. This isn't just another Falcons roster. This is a storm gathering strength. 2025 isn't just another year. It's the year. The year Casey Washington shocks the world. The year Drake London becomes a household name. The year the Atlanta Falcons reclaim the identity of the Dirty Birds. Fearless, relentless, unstoppable. The message is loud and crystal clear. The Falcons aren't on their way. They've already arrived. And the NFC South better brace itself, because this rise isn't quiet, it's violent. It's loud, and it's coming fast. What we're witnessing isn't a team slowly improving. It's the birth of something bigger, a dynasty in the making. History is beginning right now in Atlanta. And nobody, not the Saints, not the Panthers, not the Buccaneers, not even the national media, is ready for what's about to hit. The South is ours, and this is only the beginning.